Ancient Roman glass acquires interesting properties after being buried in the ground for centuries. Over time, the molecules in the glass made in ancient Rome rearranged themselves and recombined with the minerals. In this way, so-called photonic crystals were created, ordered systems of atoms that filter and reflect light in a specific way. In ancient Rome, glass vessels were commonly used to store wine, water and cosmetics. When they broke, they were covered with a layer of dust and soil while lying in the ground, and were affected by changing temperatures, moisture and mineral substances. Nowadays, these tiny pieces of glass are found on construction sites and archaeological sites. On their surface you can see a whole mosaic of iridescent colors: blue, green and orange. Smaller pieces are used as pendants, larger ones go to museums. Materials science engineers Fiorenzo Omenetto and Giulia Guidetti from Tufts University in the USA became interested in them. They observed that the glass particles rearranged and reconnected with the minerals, creating the so-called photonic crystals, ordered systems of atoms that filter and reflect light in a very specific way. Photonic crystals have many applications in technology, including for very fast communication in computers and via the Internet. They can be designed to block certain wavelengths of light and allow others to pass through, which is why they are used, for example, in lasers. The project began accidentally during a visit to the Italian Center for Cultural Technological Heritage. Our attention was caught by a beautiful, shiny piece of glass on the shelf, describes Omenetto. It was a fragment of Roman glass from ancient Aquileia. Scientists quickly realized that they were dealing with naturally formed nanocrystals with special light transmittance properties. The glass dated to the period from the 1st century BC to the 1st century AD and came from Egypt, which indicates the existence of international trade. Its surface had a patina only a millimeter thick, with an almost perfect gold mirror image. Microscopic analysis showed that the so-called Bragg mirrors, which have the ability to selectively reflect light of different wavelengths, and are used, for example, in lasers. Scientists explain that the process of corrosion and reconstruction has been operating for centuries, as a result of which nanometer-thick layers of minerals were deposited on the glass, and the silica in the glass corroded. The result is an extremely ordered arrangement of hundreds of layers of crystalline material. The results and description of the research were published in the journal, Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. The Webb Telescope detected carbon dioxide on Europa. Observations using the James Webb Space Telescope have detected carbon dioxide on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. The data indicate that CO2 comes from a vast subsurface ocean beneath the Moon's thick, icy crust. Europa is Jupiter's fourth largest moon, one of its 92 natural satellites. It is also the sixth largest moon in the Solar System. This icy ball is larger than the dwarf planet Pluto but slightly smaller than Earth's moon. The surface of Europe is frosty, with an average temperature of -170 degrees Celsius. Astronomers suspect that Europa hides a huge ocean beneath its icy crust. Thanks to the temperature coming from the interior of the Moon, the oceans may have conditions favorable to complex chemical reactions. In turn, analyses of data from the Galileo and Cassini probes showed the activity of geysers on this icy moon. This was also confirmed by observations using the Hubble Space Telescope. Researchers saw clouds appearing and disappearing, probably water vapor. The geysers are so large that their plume can reach up to 200 kilometers. For this reason, Europa is one of the most promising worlds in the solar system for searching for extraterrestrial life. Although this moon is much smaller than Earth, its ocean may contain twice as much water as all of our planet's seas combined. Moreover, research from 2 years ago found that Europa may still be smoldering with volcanic activity, and that the floor of the Moon may be dotted with volcanoes and hydrothermal vents. This discovery fuels speculation about the possibility of the existence of microbial life on Europa, because various forms of life occur around Earth's hydrothermal vents, despite extreme conditions. However, the subsurface ocean is covered with an ice crust several or even several dozen kilometers thick, which makes sampling the ocean quite a challenge. Now astronomers using data collected by the James Webb Space Telescope have identified carbon dioxide on Europa. Its source likely comes from the subsurface ocean, scientists suggest. The results and description of the research were published in 2 publications in the journal Science. Life on Earth likes chemical diversity. The more diversity, the better. We live based on coal. Understanding the chemical composition of Europa's ocean will help us determine whether it is inhospitable to life as we know it, or whether it might be a good place for it, said Geronimo Villanueva of NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, lead author of one of the papers published in Science. We have observational evidence that the carbon we see on Europa's surface comes from the ocean. This is not a small thing. Carbon is a biologically important element, added Samantha Trumbo from Cornell University, lead author of the second publication. The greatest concentration of carbon dioxide detected by scientists is in a region called Terra Regio, a geologically young area where the icy surface has been eroded and material has probably been exchanged between the subsurface ocean and the icy surface. It is not entirely clear what happened in this area. One idea is that warm water from the ocean rises, melting surface ice, which then refreezes over time, creating new geological terrain. Earlier observations from the Hubble Space Telescope indicate the presence of salt in the area around Terra Regio. Now we see that there are also high concentrations of carbon dioxide there. This means that the carbon probably has its source in the subsurface ocean, Trumbo explained. Carbon dioxide identified on the surface of Europa is not stable. Therefore, scientists believe that it appeared on the lunar surface in a relatively recent period, which is confirmed by its concentration in a geologically young region. The discovery of carbon dioxide in salt-rich areas of Europa's icy crust indicates that the CO2 comes from the ocean below, rather than from external sources such as meteorites, said Kevin Hand, an astrobiologist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory and co-author of one of the papers. Life as we know it loves to eat and breathe carbon dioxide. So the sign that Europa's ocean may contain an abundance of CO2 bodes very well for the possibility of life there, he added. On April 14 this year, the JUICE, Jupiter Icy Moon Explorer, probe was launched into space. Its target is Jupiter and several of its moons, Ganymede, Callisto and Europa. The mission will investigate the physiochemical characteristics of these worlds, including whether conditions could exist on the icy moons of the gas giants. Europe is of particular interest to astrobiologists. The satellite will cover a distance of 600 million kilometers and will be in Jupiter's orbit in 2029. JUICE will conduct observations for at least 3 years. In turn, the Europa Clipper mission is scheduled to launch in October this year, the aim of which will be to conduct in-depth research of the icy moon. The spacecraft will carry 9 science instruments, including cameras and spectrometers for high-resolution imaging of the lunar surface, a magnetometer for measuring the strength and direction of the magnetic field, and an ice-penetrating radar for determining the thickness of the ice crust over the ocean. During its mission, the spacecraft will make 40 to 45 passes over Europa, examining the Moon's icy crust and subsurface ocean, providing data necessary to assess Europa's environment. Is dark matter distorting the shape of our galaxy? If you looked at our galaxy from the side, you would see that it is not a flat disk. Its edges are distorted. Scientists have been arguing for years what could be responsible for this. In a new study, scientists propose that a huge concentration of dark matter may be behind the visible curvature. Astronomers have known for some time that the disk of the Milky Way is warped. Data from the Gaia Observatory, which maps with high precision the positions and velocities of stars in our galaxy, showed that the edges of the Milky Way are curved. Scientists aren't entirely sure what might be causing this. So far, the best explanation has been a relatively recent or even ongoing collision with another, smaller galaxy. However, new research suggests otherwise. According to scientists from the Harvard and Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics, the distortion in the shape of the Milky Way may be due to the presence of a large concentration of dark matter. The description and results of the research were published in the journal, Nature Astronomy. The Milky Way and the dark matter halo measurements since the mid-20th century have shown that the Milky Way is not a flat disk. The galaxy has distortions. This happens especially at its edges. The areas on one side look as if they are bending downwards, and on the other side they look like they are bending upwards. Astronomers have been wondering for years what could be the reason for this. Last year it was discovered that the Milky Way's halo is also distorted. The galactic halo is a spherical area surrounding the disk of spiral galaxies, which contains the oldest and most metal-poor stars and large concentrations of gas and dust, but also dark matter. In order to clarify this issue, computer simulations were carried out. The suggested solution to this puzzle involves the involvement of a mysterious cosmic event that led to the bending of the dark matter halo surrounding the galaxy. According to astronomers, the data obtained through this simulation, combined with the data we have about the stellar halo, prove that the Milky Way is inscribed in a halo composed of dark matter. As we know, we cannot see it because it does not react to light. It is believed that about 85% the universe is filled with it. Its existence is revealed by the gravitational effects it exerts. At least this is how scientists explain anomalies in the rotation of galaxies and the motion of galaxies in clusters. It also turns out that one of the symptoms of the presence of dark matter may also be giving shape to the galactic halo. The obtained results, combined with stellar halo data, provide compelling evidence that our galaxy is embedded in a tilted dark matter halo, the scientists wrote in the publication. The halo boundary begins beyond the arms of the Milky Way. This area has recently been explored by the European Space Agency. This research was carried out in 2022 using the Gaia spacecraft, as part of a project aimed at mapping the sky and its 2 billion stars. And it was when analyzing the position of stars in the halo of the Milky Way that it was discovered that something was wrong. Here again, computer simulations proved useful. Scientists have recreated the appearance of the young Milky Way, with a dark matter halo tilted at 25 degrees from the disk. Then they observed the changes occurring over time. It turned out that after 5 billion years, they managed to obtain a galaxy that closely resembles the current Milky Way. In this way, it was possible to demonstrate that, in fact, the dark matter halo is able to deform the galactic halo. However, we still do not know what the mysterious event mentioned at the beginning was. However, it is possible that it was a collision of the Milky Way with another galaxy, as suggested by the 2020 research mentioned at the beginning. How many cells are there in the human body? The cell is the basic functional unit of all forms of life. It serves as a building block of tissues and organs. From brain and blood cells to skin cells and stem cells, each type is adapted to perform a specific task that, when combined, keeps us alive. But how many exactly are there? In new research, scientists managed to estimate how many cells the human body consists of. To count the number of cells in the human body, Ian Hatton of the Max Planck Institute for Mathematics in the Sciences in Leipzig, Germany, and colleagues from institutions in Canada, Spain and the US, analyzed more than 1,500 research papers on cells. The researchers looked at factors such as the number of cell types in the body, how many of each type of cell are in each tissue, and the average size and mass of each cell type. The results and description of the research were published in the journal, Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. In their analyses, the authors took into account the number and size of 400 different cell types in 60 different tissues, including immune, nerve and muscle cells. Studies have shown that the average adult man has approximately 36 trillion cells and the average adult woman has 28 trillion cells. This number was also estimated for children aged 10 years. Here it turned out that they have about 17 trillion cells. The analyzers assumed that the standard adult male weighs 70 kilograms and the female weighs 60 kilograms. The children's weight was averaged to 32 kilograms. During the analyses, it also turned out that the mass of small cells in our body, such as blood cells, is approximately the same as the mass of large cells, such as muscle cells. This discovery surprised researchers. If cells were grouped by size, each group of cells would contribute the same amount to the total body mass. These patterns suggest an organism-wide trade-off between cell size and cell number, the researchers write in the publication. You might guess that there's an average cell size and that we're mostly made up of these average-sized cells, but that's actually not true, said Eric Galbraith of McGill University, co-author of the paper. According to him, there is an inverse relationship between size and number of cells, resulting in us having fewer larger cells and a greater number of smaller cells. In our bodies we have roughly equal numbers, by mass, of very small cells and very large cells, and cells with varying sizes in between them, Galbraith added. This pattern spans 7 orders of magnitude of cells, from tiny red blood cells to the largest muscle cells, which is comparable to the mass ratio of a shrew to a blue whale, Hatton said. However, the analysis has limitations. In the study, scientists focused on average bodies. They do not take into account differences in weight and size in humans. Therefore, the authors of the meta-analysis indicate that the data they obtained may not be entirely correct. They noted that in many cases they had to rely on data on cell dimensions made through indirect measurements rather than direct measurements of the mass of different cell types. They also estimated the total cell counts of adult women and children, using articles mainly about adult men. Further research is needed to determine this precisely. Research has also identified some gaps in our knowledge, which may have potential health consequences. Probably most important is our estimate of the total number of human lymphocytes, which are essential for our immune function. We estimate that there are 2 trillion lymphocytes in the human body, which is 4 times more than previous estimates. This could prove important for health and lymphocyte-related diseases such as HIV and leukemia, Galbraith said.